Let's jam.
And boom! What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back, goddammit, to another edition of Tell Me a Joke, the guideline and chasing the dream. I'm your host of Maniacal, Menace. Say the whole thing like a pimp named Slickback. And today, goddammit, got Mr. Chuckles on the right side of me, Mr. Hilarious himself, the smooth, calm, and collective Dylan Gray.
Hello.
How
Thank
you
you for
doing,
having
dude?
me. I'm so excited
Yes,
to be
sir.
here.
Yes, sir.
This is a beautiful house you have.
Yeah. Speaking of beautiful places, this is nice. Is it? How many people's here?
We got 4 people.
Oh.
And it's me and 2 other comics. You saw
Yeah.
D Wallace is here as well.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely takes 4 of us to be here. I tell you that.
Oh, the comedy is this. So basically, this is just like living the comedy lifestyle. You know, you got some comics and all y'all chip in and rent a nice, spacious house. This is good. Like, so what is the vibes? Does everybody get along?
Yeah, we're pretty chill, honestly. I feel like it's pretty neat too, because especially me and D, we're always out like doing mics and shit.
Yeah.
We're spending time together outside of comedy and everything. Like when you see the amps and stuff around.
Right.
One of the roommates plays guitar, plays bass.
Oh,
He'll
that's
just
what's going
start
on.
strumming, and D will just freestyle, sing, rap, anything, and
that's
it's just
fun.
that's a
That's
good
a
vibe
vibe.
immediately. I'll just sit back and start recording or sip
Yeah.
a drink or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow.
Oh, that is fun. That makes me miss the times. It's like, oh, I'm married now. I have a kid going away. Yeah, no more times like that unless the missus is okay with it. But I don't want to put her through that pressure most of the time because I understand. Like I remember those times, late nights and shit. And trying to
4 in
get
the
up and
morning.
work. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is nice. So how long you been in comedy for?
I've been doing. Man, next month will be 10 months, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going on a year. I think November is a year here.
Oh,
Man.
that's what's up, dude. You're fresh to it.
I feel like long in the tooth at this point because
Yeah.
I'll sit back and I'll scroll through a notebook or I'll go through my audio notes and it's like, oh, secret group number 48. And I'm like, this is weird.
Oh, you label.
No, it's my phone does the location. So sometimes it'll do, sometimes it'll say I'm at a different address, but I'm at secret. But
Yeah.
it just does the 48th recording here at Secret Group, and then I'll label it if it's like you fucking murdered on this show, and be like, listen to this one again.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly it's just I'll scroll through it. I'm like, wow, this feels like it's been longer, but it's flying by.
That's what's up, dude. You've like when I saw you at the Improv, I was like, oh. So this is what it feels like to be in an actual club, because that was my first time in there.
Yeah.
And you've done that was your first time
my
as well?
first time there.
Oh hell yeah!
It was crazy. I was losing my shit, man.
Yeah. Oh man, you put on the persona as if like I got this. Like you have the attitude of like it's very calm and collected, but like it seems strategically silly whenever you get to your point because you have your bits about family and your ex and all that, and it's just like, oh, this is fun. This here, when you look at that, because I've been doing this for about 11 years now. So when you see somebody that's like, you've only been doing it for 10 months, but you seem very seasoned. Like, you know exactly what you're doing, where you're going, how to get there, segues and whatnot. And I love seeing shit like that.
Dude, I appreciate you saying that. Honestly, I don't even know what to say because that means so much. Like I would say to an extent, like, you could say I'm a student of the game or whatever. I grew up on it. Like I've been around it for so long. My parents were divorced when I grew up, and I just remember like being a child, like 5-6 years old, my mom playing George Lopez CDs, driving me to the town, like to come see my dad, and like thinking back on it now, I'm like, George was talking about like growing up with his single mom while I was growing up with my single mom, and my mom was using that shit to cope, and then now I use that shit to cope, and it's fucking weird.
That is dope, yo.
Yeah, like she never even would. When I started telling her I want to do stand-up, it wasn't like, oh yeah, definitely you should go for it. It wasn't like she even has this type of vision about it. It's just comedy itself was healing or comfortable for her.
Yeah.
So it's like, damn, I've always had it around. you know, using it in school to deflect some bullies or whatever, you know, too, like shit like that. But you know, being 10 months in and you saying that to me feels great because you know, it's easy to look at your stuff and listen to these secret group number 47s and be like, man, I ain't shit. Oh my God, I'm nothing.
It's a different animal out here in Texas though when it comes to actually growing up in the scene, like because I've been to I started in New Orleans, so when I felt I was ready. I was like, I need to go to the Mecca, which is either New York or LA at that time. And I thought, because no one was here to tell me like, oh, you don't need to do that. Just do you and be good at what you're doing. Nobody told me that. So in my head, you know, like my crew that I was rolling with, we all thought, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but in my head, I was like, I need to go here so this can happen this way. This is supposed to happen once I'm good enough for when I get here, people will see me, and then boom, I can excel from there. But it was not that at all. It was not that at all. And now when I think back to it now, I realize that New York was a better place for me instead of LA. LA it was a different animal. I liked living there, but you know, ever since I've started my comedy career, I've had to kind of like get it on my own. Like, so I've always been an electrician, so that's kind of like supported the drive for it. But it still gets expensive, you know, from time to time, and now there's more, I guess, more obstacles that I would have to deal with just so I can be satisfied with doing stand-up. So this is where the poetry comes in, because this scene has a very big poetry scene. This city has a very big poetry scene, and I started doing poetry in New Orleans, but it didn't manifest into what it is now until like I moved and started writing more out in LA, and that's when, besides just jokes, because LA is so different when it comes to fucking doing comedy and shit, because like if you're not from there, then everybody's welcoming. Everybody's like, yeah, man, come on in, you know. And this is kind of what you'll see, like the longer you do comedy, you're like, yeah, people, if you outside the fishbowl, cool, you're not in my water. All right, you looking in, that's cool, I don't mind you looking in, go ahead and look in all you want. But when you move and you start to live amongst the other fish there, everybody's a beta. Everybody's a beta fish out there. And it's like, man, fuck you. I'm trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, we're competing.
Yeah, and I realized that I didn't look at it like that in my head. I thought that since I've visited before, like it would be the same as me visiting again. But once you tell people that you live there now, they're like, oh, you gonna be a problem. So let me make this hard for you. And yeah, there's so many mics out in LA, and it's just so many different places that you can go to, but you're never knowing what's going to be lucrative or not, you know. And it made it difficult. It made it suck. It made it not fun. I met friends and shit out there. Like when I first went out there, kind of like go and see a college campus and shit. So I went out there for a year or two before I moved out to LA, and I stayed with my homegirl Punky Johnson. I stayed with her. She's on SNL now. Yeah. So it's just like, all right, cool. I saw what it was to go ahead and adventure out in that city, right. And then when I go live there, I'm like, oh, this is not what I was getting before. Now it's like, oh, you look like you just one of the regular people now. And out in LA, it was their way of doing things is not like Texas or fucking Louisiana. Like their way of doing things is that if they can take something from you, they will. And I didn't give a fuck for any of that. Yeah. That's not how I was raised in this comedy scene.
No, not at all. Yeah. That would be so uncomfortable for me. Yeah. Like, whoa. People are choosing to be here?
Yeah.
You want to be a part of this?
Right. I'm like, yo, okay, I get it. And like seeing most of the people out there coming to Texas, I'm like, okay, it's a bit different. The community is more, it's more knit tight. You don't really see cliques or anything, which I'm not as versed in the scene to be able to know if there are cliques or whatnot. But I see the people who go up the most and who is actually doing their thing, and to see that like people are actually progressing from where they're at, it makes me very upset. Not saying that I'm hating or anything. It's just that I didn't get that in New Orleans. Like we don't have clubs in New Orleans. So basically we just grinding. And it's like an insanity. We don't think it's gonna get anywhere unless you really get seen.
Right.
But it when I go other places, it's like, damn, it feels like I've wasted my time in this area just because I don't feel as if this is progressing. Like I've gotten really good, but the progression doesn't show because I'm still just doing these open mics and such.
I mean, I feel like just because you're in the same area grinding for a long time doesn't necessarily mean that it was a waste of time. Like like you said, you got better being there. Like,
yeah.
It's not like you were wasting your time. If you were going up once a week and not even trying to do shit, then maybe you're wasting your time. But I have a feeling you're probably hustling a little harder than that.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make it happen. But, like, eventually maybe you do just have to venture out. Like, if you're from a different part of town or a different, like, state in general, I've never been outside the state of Texas. I've always lived here my whole life. So, like, or I've driven through, but I've never been anywhere for, like, more than a night.
Yeah.
I've never performed anywhere. I've never been anywhere as an adult. So I don't have any frame of reference for like, oh, how hard is it in like Tulsa, Oklahoma to be a funny comic? Maybe they have 3 mics a week that they have to just go to every night. And it takes them like longer because they decided they weren't going to move out until 5 years in, and it's like you weren't wasting your time if you're going up and working.
Yeah.
And maybe you have a lot of great, not local references, but a lot of stories about the shit that you went through sucking fucking dick at open mic in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like you went through a lot of shit, and now it's gonna, make it a little. There's a fire under your ass, maybe. When you move out here or anywhere.
Yeah, that's basically what it was, and like I was like, okay, I need, because when I moved out of LA, I stayed out in LA for about a year. And so I've been out here for 3 years. So I was here before the pandemic started. I left LA right as it started to pick up. And I was like, but I have a good sense of, I can read energy pretty well. And which I think it just comes with all comics. As a comic, you're able to pick up certain feelings and shit. And towards the end of me being out there, like people could see it in my face. It was like, oh, you don't look happy. I'm like, yeah. I'm not. It was difficult. Like the shit just started going downhill after a while. Like I had to buy a new car, but I didn't have money to buy a new car. So the job that I was working with, the electrical job, that they bought me a car, and it was like, here you go, come get to work because we like you. I'm like, all right, cool. And I bought the wrong car. I bought a car that I probably should have weighed out my options a little more. I probably should have did a little more research instead of just being like first person that came by with a stick shift, I'm buying it. Yeah. It should have dawned on me when the guy gave me the titles when his hand was shaking. And I was like, you look like you making a nervous deal, sir. And yeah, it was, because basically he had a blown gasket. There was a blown gasket in it. It was a 5-cylinder. Only 4 of them worked. And everything was hilly. Everything had a hill. And I'm like, I can only go 30. Yeah. So I'm putting on the side just trying to get the mics and shit. And the mics that I would go to, they weren't worth it. For me, they weren't worth it. Most of the time, especially like Kill Tony and shit, trying to fucking put your number, put your your name in a potluck.
Yeah, 300,000 people.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, well, fuck, it took me almost an hour to get here because I'm putting 30. I'm putting going around 30. And if I can't get up nowhere, this will be a worthless day. But it takes me so long to get places. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. So what was giving me the fix was poetry. And as I was writing poetry, like the comedy portion of the poetry came in New Orleans. I mean, I didn't think that was going to do anything. I was just like, well, this is how I feel about this person. So let me talk about it and write about this person. And so I did. And I was like, oh, I got a good reception from it. So I was like, fuck it. Let's keep going. Let's see where this takes me. And eventually that right there, I realized I'm like, oh, this makes me stand out anywhere I go just because it's different.
This is unique.
Yeah. I never want to be like other people because is when you get out to LA, you see a lot of that. You see, I tell people that it's the little planktons that follow that other little plankton on SpongeBob, the little green guys that look like pickles. Yeah,
The little anchovy guys.
Yeah, those little fuckers. And like Punky was she was still cool. But when I was out there, I noticed that she was the one, and then you had everybody else that was just yes man and around her, and I'm like, why y'all don't have the same drive that I have?
You could still be real with people.
Yeah,
have a real relationship with people.
And I didn't understand that. I'm like, what? This is really fake. Like this here, like no matter, regardless. I remember there was one time I ran into Punky and he's like a lackey or something. I don't know. He would be the go-getter guy. Like he's a comic himself, but he wouldn't go up. He would just be like, "Oh, you want some water? Let me give you some water." He's like, "Bitch, why aren't you out here at the mics with me? Like, why you being her secretary? Like, this don't make sense to me." Yeah. And, when she put it, she was like, "Why don't y'all go out and do some mics or something like that? Like, why the fuck y'all always follow me around and shit?" And I was like, yeah, why are they always following you around? Like, I've only been out here for so long. Like, this is weird as fuck to me. Like, it doesn't seem genuine. It seems like motherfuckers are, which most of them were. Most of them were being real fake. And I could, like, being in the crowd, you can kind of read that shit. And it's like, oh no, I don't want no parts of this.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So most of my dilly dallying was like with poetry, and that's what made me feel good, because they had which fucking really sunk in my head is the LA Poetry Lounge, the Poetry Lounge out in LA, basically. Their little spot that they had, you had to get there early. There's a line around the corner just to sign up. It's $5 to sign up, and you gotta hope that you can get on the mic. And this was a place where Ed Sheridan was found. Like, he used to come to this poetry place and play his little acoustics and shit, and people were like, oh, and it's dope, because like there's so many people here, and you just sometimes you can be in a round and everybody's just sitting around you and shit. And I actually went up and I did a few competitions, but I just want to recite my poems. That's it. And people were like, yo, bitch, I like that. That's different. And then just kind of progressed from there, and it made me feel good. So I'm like, fuck that. Let's just keep doing this then. And then that just kind of like transferred itself to down here to Texas, where the poetry scene is much more put together, more knit tight. And like they're actually doing shit. It's moving like a comedy scene, but it's not comedy. But that's what I come to do. I still got regular poems and shit to where people are like, oh nigga, that's thought provoking, that's cool. But when I come out talking about I'll make sweet love to your grandma, like everybody's like, what is happening right now? Yeah. And so that excites me, But it's a learning process everywhere I go, and I hate that it takes long. I know.
Me and D talk about this all the time. We're like, man, I just want to be somewhere, but I know I have to work more. I gotta work a lot more.
Yeah.
I want to tell more jokes, but I only have 12 minutes.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's a funny thing you say that, because when we first started out, have you been to a mic to where you just got you got a host that's just like, hey, you got it, and it would just leave you on stage?
No, I mean, I've had someone let me go long for a while, but never like, you got it. They just didn't show back up. Like, maybe 7 minutes, 8 minutes on a 5 minute or something.
Yeah.
Like, but nothing crazy.
Well, shout out Jackie Jenkins Jr. because this guy is the one that got us ready for the trenches, basically. Like every Friday. Yeah. Every Friday was Friday, and it also moved to Saturdays, but at La Nuit Comedy Theater. At La Nuit Theater, it was a place where Joey Diaz and Robin Williams performed at in New Orleans. And I was like, oh, I need to come here. So when I found this place, he would be a person that would be like, hey, man, I like what you're doing. Go ahead, it's your turn. You getting up? Like we understood where we was going. You know, he'd be all right. Your turn, and then I'm gonna put him up, and I'm gonna put him up. Like, all right, cool. And so we'll go out, depending on who was up. We'll go out in the front. We'd be able to watch through the window. We'll go out in the front, and we'll smoke, and we would smoke, and we would see and listen to see if the person on stage was doing okay. And usually, if they're doing all right, he'd just let them go, and you'd be up there for 12 minutes. 15 minutes before he'll come get you, and we are fresh to it. Yeah. Like maybe a year in, maybe, but this right here, that right there built up our chops though. Yeah. Just so be like, well, I don't got 15, but I can go ahead and stretch it if you need it, you know. And he wouldn't tell you how long you were doing, so it's just like a fucking. Like a dance, see what makes people laugh, see how you gonna get up there. And that really prepared me for being able to go right.
Oh man, almost everything I talk about right now is just some form of real life event that I put a twist on, or I'll try to add a joke here or there on just a fully true story. So unintentionally but intentionally, it feels like it's stuff that I want to be relatable. Yeah. Like, this is what it was like to get through my day, or this is what it's like now. I don't live with my ex-girlfriend. I live with 3 dude roommates. Yeah. Like, it gets uncomfortable. You got to turn your Bluetooth off when you go to bed at night. Like, it's weird.
Wait, what's up with the Bluetooth?
I mean, there's speakers all around the house. People got, we play music, we do whatever.
Oh.
Sometimes you go to bed and it's been a bad day and you shouldn't be watching something that you're watching. And then,
and it just syncs up to the Bluetooth.
I mean, it could, hypothetically. That's all. Hypothetically, it could, I guess, maybe.
All right, I can understand that. Yeah, y'all. It's a comics house.
Oh,
like
yeah.
this is the comfortability that I feel. I'm like, oh, bitch, don't let it rub off on you, because this takes me back to the good old days.
I mean, you see 4 overflowing trash cans, 17 half-drank water bottles, a fucking Ralph Barbosa signed poster, an iron board,
and a fucking Tom Segura right on top.
Oh, yeah. That's how I like my Latinos, all on top.
Oh, that's all. And that's him being G. Garth Brooks. Let's get physical. I like that.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing, dude. Like, this is the comfortability here is just off the charts, and I fucking love it. Like, where would you like to see yourself?
Oh man, I try to think short term. I got long term dreams, but I got short term goals. And I would say in the next year or so, I just want to start performing outside of town. Anywhere. I've gone to Chemo once, but I don't think I've performed outside of town other than that. And I just want to, I don't really care about the money as much as just like getting out on new stages, meeting new people. Like, I know, I'm gonna have to spend gas money to fucking go somewhere, and I probably might make $10 to go somewhere, but I just want to make new acquaintances, meet new people, meet new comics,
network,
travel. Like, my real like goal in life is just like travel with my time. Like, if I was just rich tomorrow, I'd be traveling every day. So the idea of like, hey, I could go tell jokes in different cities or different states and drive there, enjoy my time, sightsee, and then tell jokes that night and like make people feel good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Can I get a burger for free? Right. I got fed. I got to see some cool shit. I got to meet some people.
Hell yeah.
Pass out a sticker with my Instagram on it.
Do you have stickers?
No, I'm trying to. I'm thinking about a couple.
I've been in it way too long to say I don't really have much of shit. I used to have like cards and all that, but those cards don't really do much. It's like, oh, you gave somebody some trash. Good job.
I think about that too. I'm like, man, if anything, like, okay, you had a good show. You just stand out there and offer them, hey, donation based, and it's got your little Instagram handle and a joke on it or something.
Yeah.
Break my heart, not my lease. Whatever. And then, hey, follow me if you like it. Donations, it's okay. If you don't want to pay nothing, that's all right. Donations. But yeah, it is definitely a piece of trash. Yeah. So, you can't get around that. If they're not putting it on their laptop or their fucking school binder, why is there a school kid here at my comedy show? If they're like, where do you put stickers?
Where?
The fuck? On your Xbox?
Yeah, your laptop or some shit.
Yeah.
Like so what would you say that George Lopez was like the guy that you were kind of like focused? No, I wouldn't say focused on, but was that the guy that like brought comedy to you? Like, is that when you realize comedy is when you listen to George Lopez?
Yeah, I would say for the first time for sure. Young, it was George Lopez is the earliest I can remember, but also Fluffy. I saw Fluffy's like first Comedy Central special. Yeah. Fucking Anthony Jeselnik was big when I was young. I was watching the roast, so I was seeing I can't fucking Greg Giraldo was huge like back then. Mitch Hedberg. I was on like Pandora Radio, so I was hearing a lot of these older things that were before I was even born for a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I was just discovering these people just slowly as I grew from like those 6-year-old times with George Lopez up to like 10 years old. I'm on Pandora Radio, kind of getting my own taste for new shit. That's probably when it's Jeselnik and Roast and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was a big Raw Dog fan on XM.
Yeah.
And so that's where I really started listening to more and more comedy. But that was after, like, I've already became a comedian. Like, but in Dane Cook.
Oh, shit, dude. I'm 9 years old watching The Vicious Circle. Like, at infinity times. Like, I remember in the pandemic, I had my best friend over, and he had never seen it. He didn't know who Dane Cook even was. And I was just watching it again like it was the first time. I was like,
watch this part. Yeah, hell yeah.
So there's this joke about the Bible. Like whatever. Like, holy shit, dude. Dane fucking murdered. Dane blew my mind when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know, like, comedy didn't dawn on me until Dane came to my space, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? It just his descriptions and how emotional, like how you can just act out everything and just contort his body into the whatever. I was like, yo, Premium Blend is when I first seen him, and he did that fucking aliens fucking mouth. Like, I was like, yo, I see the alien, yo. And he's like, oh, and he's all wet and shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
You're making me see it.
Like, and you were just, that was right there. My whole, like, as soon as he came out with, I don't even know the album. I forget the album, but.
What year about?
2004, 2005.
Yeah,
2007.
It's not Vicious Circle. It's not the one where he's in the round. It's right before that. I can't think.
That
what the
was
fuck
Rough Around the Edges when he was in the round. And Rough Around the Edges, I just watched a 20-minute documentary on him the other day, and of the rise and fall of Dane Cook, basically. So his whole story, like, as his whole little story was going on, as he was living, as I discovered him from MySpace, fucking shoes and the Kool-Aid Man and shit like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is dope. Oh, this is funny. The descriptions are amazing. And then you learn that, oh, he has similar jokes to like Louis C.K. and other people. And I'm like, no. In my head, because, that's the word, like, in the beginning, that was the thing I was talking about. I was like, no, joke thieves is not the way to go. But then when you hear about it, and it's like, God damn it, I'm not going to stop liking him or anything like that, but it's just, in my head, it's like, no, man, not Dane, it couldn't be. And the whole time when I would listen, I'm like, man, them jokes is fucking similar. But Louis C.K. did have a good take on it. I forget the name that he called it, but it was something to where, you probably could have heard it and so you
there's
made
a
it
term.
you've made it a memory yourself. So you thought that you and I think I have ran into some thoughts like that before. Like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
You know, I tell people this sometimes. I remember a long time ago when Volkswagen Beetles just became they switched up the body style of them, and they kept the dome but they made it more modern. And there was like giveaways and fucking prizes and shit when they came out because it was something new just to get people attracted to Volkswagen Beetles again. And basically, I think Roseanne was on or something like that, or the Ricky Lake show or some shit. And I believe I'm half asleep on the sofa, or I think I'm watching Ricky Lake. I'm not sure, but I know when it went to a commercial, they had a commercial saying that we're giving away a Volkswagen Beetle, basically. But for you to win this Volkswagen Beetle, you have to find. I say it's a roach. They might have said a beetle. I'm still not sure. But there was like, if you find a roach and you flip it over and it has a barcode under its belly, then you have won. See, you're laughing because it sounds hella ridiculous. And every time I bring it up, I'm like, nigga, this is fucking ridiculous, dude. You can't keep telling people this. I swear, son. I swear.
I think you're lying. I think Dane Cook saw this video. Dane Cook saw the commercial on a Ricky Lake show.
And I'm like, how did this get in my head and why is it a thing?
Fuck.
And I try to run with it. I try to be as honest when I say about it. I'm like, man, I swear, it wasn't a dream because I don't know.
It had to be real.
It had to be real. But you just think, what type of feasibility would it be to fucking just walk outside, pick up a roach and be like, oh, this got a barcode on it. You know how many fucking insects is out there? Like, at what general area would this roach be in? Like, there's so many places that...
There's a roach in a Ziploc outside of one school.
See? Now, when you sit implanting it, so,
It's a real roach. You got to find a moving ass roach.
Yeah, I'm over here kicking roaches and shit.
It's like, you got to conquer your fear, number one. Pick up the roach.
Just outside telling him, what you doing, Kyle? You know what? Shut up. Let me dream.
Where's your helmet, bro? The fuck?
I don't know if I've never heard anything. I've even tried to Google this, and I'm like, no, I don't think this was a thing ever.
I don't want it in my search history.
Yeah,
Google thinks
I
I'm
don't
dumb.
even look it up anymore. I'm like, no, you know what? This wasn't a thing. Don't tell people that no more, Kyle. I'm like, man, fuck what you talking about. This had to be something.
It's the angel and the devil on your shoulder.
Yeah.
I just want to be honest with myself.
Ain't no honesty there. It's like you been lying. Your brain told tricks on you. I was like, man, all right. But see, those are the thoughts and those are the things that pop in my head. So whenever that happened with Dane, I'm like, but that's my icon. That's my idol. Like, you know. So do you who do you like now? Who do you like really like to? I guess whose stand up stands out to you more now?
I can honestly say, like, in the last year or year and a half, I haven't watched a special or like a full hour of anyone, but the people that I've seen the most time of and like really enjoyed, I've loved Tom Segura for quite a while, but homeboy over here, Ralph, I've seen like 6 times, most of the show, like 6 times in the last year, and dude is killing it right now. Like, just the delivery, like, the jokes are great, but the way he can entice you into the story and then just be like, kind of like crafty, sneaky, cute, silly guy, like, haha, I'm just being me, young, silly guy up here. Like, the crowd is in on every fucking story. Like, it's hard to not just be absorbed into it when he's fucking going on. I
think here comes the hater in me.
That's okay.
whenever somebody says, "Oh, you need to check this out," "Oh, you need to check that out," kind of like Game of Thrones came out. Everybody's like, "Oh man, Game of Thrones is the shit. You need to watch Game of Thrones." I'm like, man, all right, since you're saying I gotta watch it, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna just get on
the well a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're ruining it for me. Like everybody's like, "Oh, it's and I got it. I'm putting it up to a certain standard and shit, but I'm also gonna judge it harshly."
I feel
and I'm like, God damn it! So I haven't listened to anything that Ralph has done.
I lucked out on that, and I got to see him live before I'd ever even heard. Like, someone was like, "Oh, have you heard of this guy? He's young and up and coming. Like, he's a good guy." Because they saw he was coming to a show. I was like, "Oh no, I haven't." He was opening or co-headlining a show, and I got to see him live before I ever heard anything. So seeing, obviously seeing a performance live is just so much different than listening or watching a video. And he fucking murdered the first weekend I saw him. And back then it was like he was talking to us for hours after the show. Like, yeah, I'm still cutting hair part time. Like, I'm still working 2 jobs and I'm staying at home still. All this stuff. It was before he blew up. So I really lucked out on that part of it, because I'm the same kind of way of. If a lot of people are telling me to listen to a podcast or listen to an album or fucking watch some movie, I'm not necessarily gonna jump to it.
Yeah, I can't. I'm like, now, because even though this is what you like, you're on a different spectrum than I am. I don't. So
Absolutely.
For me to try to jump into it and be like, oh yeah, this is what it was, it doesn't feel genuine to me. I want to genuinely just kind of like fall into his stand up.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm scrolling Netflix and I found someone I've never seen before. Oh, let me throw it on. Like, that's what was beautiful about Pandora Radio back then.
Yeah,
is they're just throwing on Mitch Hedberg, Mike Birbiglia, Anthony Jeselnik, like Bill Burr, fucking Patrice O'Neill. Like Greg Giraldo, all these people, I was getting like Nick Thune and Dimitri Martin. I liked the guitar comics for a while. Like I love fucking Bo Burnham, dude. Like Bo Burnham is one of my favorite performers of all time.
He was the reason. He's the reason there's certain things. I wrote certain things just because of him. Like his pandemic special that he had. Work of art. Man, I started to want to do something like that, but I'm like, oh no, I don't have the means to be able to do this. Like I can't do this, what he did here, which was because he's really good at being able to capture things himself. He has the camera equipment, he has everything that he needs, because he also plays instruments and shit. And I'm like, fuck, I can't. It's a lot that you're doing. In my head, he's another person that is in the realm of like comedy poetry, but he puts music to behind his thing. So I'm like, okay, this is nice.
Have you seen him actually do just regular poetry though? Because he has comedic poetry as well, but he wrote a full book of poems.
No.
Yeah, in one of the specials, I believe it was reading poems from my book. It's an empty book, of course, but there's jokes at the end of the book.
Yeah.
Or at the end of the poem. But the Egghead book is just like legit poems, and the stuff where he's so good at crafting and self-shooting in this last special partially comes from he literally like syncs, writes, creates, and orchestrates all the lighting and all of the music for all of the specials already. So it's like for literally the show, he sets it all up. Like he cues the lights for the right time. He cues the music to drop when he's like talking to himself in previous specials, like through the robot voice and shit. He has that whole thing set up, and then he just has like a guy in the back fucking there, like, all right, you're gonna be there and make sure it all goes. And he fucking cues. He's been doing that shit. I started watching him in 2007 on YouTube. Like I grew up on YouTube so heavily. I was seeing him when he was like 15, 16 in his bedroom making just songs on YouTube, singing it to the fucking computer. So like this guy, I'm just amazed at the talent and like the entrepreneurship of, I'm a fucking little creative kid. And now, by the time he was 18, he's like the star of YouTube. And then after that, he got on with MTV. Like he had his own little fake docuseries reality show that he was shooting. Man, there's so much shit.
It makes my brain hurt when I think. Like you made my brain hurt even more just now, just knowing that he does all that himself. Because I'm like, all right, I want to do this all myself too. And I during my time, I bought cameras, I bought gimbals and shit, and I realized, bitch, I got a whole gimbal for a DSLR, and I'm like, how I'm going to gimbal myself? I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm just
standing in a mirror.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what the fuck?
Oh, I never thought of that.
That's so funny.
damn it.
Is it cool if we pause so I can pee real quick?
Yeah. Bing, bathroom break over. Oh, nice. Yeah, comedy, you know. Oh, that's good. That's since we're still talking about people. My guy that I've been fucking following hard ever since fucking Ali Sadiq, Mr. Mexican got on boots, and from when I've seen him on This Is Not Happening, it's just from there, like. I'm all invested. Like I want people to be invested in me like that, and I'm like it changed my demeanor of how I approach comedy now, just because of how he does it. Yeah. Like I seen him in Alabama. I forget where I saw him at. It was in L.A. I saw him out in L.A. My ex came out to L.A. and she took me to fucking Ali Sadiq's show. Amazing. This motherfucker came down with a comfortable chair. He sat in the chair the entire time. He was like, this is what I do. He was like, all right, whenever y'all ready. I was like, get the fuck out. The confidence. Oh, my God.
Full of confidence.
I love it. And then after the show, which made it even better, like I stopped to the side and I was like, hey, man, thank you for, yada, yada. I just wanted to, thank him and be like, man, I'm a comic. I do this. He was like, hey, hold on. Stay right here for a second. And he let everybody come through. He shook everybody's hand, said hey to everybody. And then he turned to me and was like, man, what's up, little man? I was like, get the fuck out of here. I can't. Oh, my God. All right, so and then we started chatting. We started chopping it up for about good 10, 15 minutes after the show. And, you just finished your show. You didn't have to do any of this shit. And for him to stop and fucking acknowledge me.
Absolutely.
I was like, oh, nigga, I'm all over it now. Yeah. This is what I want. I love this.
I was a fan, but now I'm in love with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, yo, okay, this is. And so him blowing up, fucking Mark Norman.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like to see his special from soup to nuts, I knew exactly what was going because he's a joke guy. Yeah. He's a set up punch type of person, in which is I'm not a Mitch Hedberg. I'm not a set up punch type of.
I love it. Yeah. I love talented people that can do it, but I can't do it.
I cannot do that. I cannot. My brain works differently. And to say his brain works that way, to see him on Netflix. And to deliver his style of comedy, because I knew exactly where it was going, because he's from New Orleans, him and Theo Von. So, like, for him to go on stage and to do his shit, I'm like, ooh, bitch, motherfuckers gonna be mad. Motherfuckers gonna be mad, because you say shit and they do not like it. I mean, it's hilarious. Yeah. It's great jokes, but it's so it towards the end, I was like, oh, here it is. It kicks into high gear and it goes real dark, and I'm like, oh yes, give it to him, Mark, give it to him. And I'm like, and you see his ratings. They must have watched the whole special, because you see it gradually take the jokes. They can't take the jokes, and motherfuckers that actually shit. Yeah. And so that shit, I love that. I love that, and I love that it's actually we're getting to see it more. And it's amazing. It makes me want to sit down and write, but it makes me write more comedy poetry. Because I'm like, all right, I can't do this, but I can do this, and this is different. And as long as I can be a comic poetically, like, it makes me feel like I've got a leg up. Yeah. I just gotta keep writing, because that shit is not easy. Oh, I bet not. Yeah. It hurts my brain sometimes.
I'm like, just the same way we're talking set up punch, like. Comedy poetry is not how my brain works. I'm sure there's like you could teach me like a rhythm to get into of like, all right, yeah, maybe you could try it. But I'm like honored and excited when I get to see you do your shit, because I'm like, oh, this is fucking really cool. Like, this is neat. I'm like, oh man, this is what. How does this just flow so nicely?
It took a lot of time. Yeah. It took a lot of time. I've been doing that for like 5 years now. So it took a lot of trial and error. I realized that I cannot do a whole comedy show like that. That does not work. That does not work, because it's like just 20 minutes or whatnot of me just rhyming. Yeah. And people like, all right, yo, you know what? No, this is
getting weird.
Yeah, it's just too much. It's clever, but hits way too much. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's no breaks or pauses in between it. So I realized that I really had to treat that like a comic and approach it like a comic instead of approaching it like I'm some type of poet or I'm some type of rap artist. No, I take it down and I take my beats, and that's what taught me how to pause. Like, cause I'm always, but doing the poetry on student comedy poetry on stage now, I'm like, oh, nigga, I need to slow down because people either I'm gonna get a big laugh and the laugh is gonna overpower what I'm saying next. So I've had to learn to take that laugh in and give a look or some shit and then go back into the next stanza. Because if not, you know, motherfuckers are like, what the fuck were you saying?
Yeah, I missed the chunk that I needed to hear.
Yeah, I've a few weeks ago I just did a show with Sean Weiss, the Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking cool.
Yeah. It was. He's he's different.
Yeah, I bet he's different since then, huh?
Yeah. And that's one of the things that he told me. He was like, dude, that shit's amazing what you did, but, you know, maybe you could slow it down a bit. There's some things that I just, you know, I've been everywhere, so there's something I just couldn't get, but man, that shit's awesome. I was like, thank you.
Yeah,
like I've been told that ever since I've started comedy, to slow it down. And in my head, it never sounds fast. It just sounds like, let me get these words out, you know? But now that I think about it more, like, how do you feel about pauses?
Dude, I swear to God, I'm sitting here grinning so hard because right before that set at the Improv, I was at an open mic and there were 4 people in the crowd. And Will Loden walks in. Pretty sure you know Will.
Yeah.
One of my favorite guys in town.
He's so funny.
So funny, so sweet, good guy.
Good guy.
He tells me, he knows I'm going up the next day at Improv. He's like, hey, don't worry about this shit. Tomorrow when you go up, just pause. Wait a little longer. You have funny jokes. Just take a little pause. And I never have paused or waited on a joke as much as I did on that performance. And it worked so well for a few moments.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, thanks, Will. I'm on the stage like, thanks, Will.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then forget what to say next. I'm like, oh yeah. But a few of those moments, I was sitting there like literally tearing up because it means so much to be like, oh, I'm performing at the Houston Improv, and you know, being not that long into the game, and it just being, you know, sacrifices you make like from work and stuff, where it's like, oh, I'm missing so many mics and et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, where you need these big payoff moments. So to get the booking, to do well, for the advice to come right there at the right time from Will, just take some more pauses.
Yeah.
And go a little slower. Because when I get up there, sometimes I don't feel like I'm speeding through a set.
Yeah.
But you look up at the clock and you got, you know, a couple minutes left and you feel like, oh, that was the stuff I was working.
Right.
That was all I was trying to work today.
I myself, when I was up there, I had, you know, the 7 minutes and I was like, okay, cool. I have to take this out, but this should still work. I should be all right with it. And then I realized that I went a little, well, I didn't go slow. It was just the fact that the things that occurred in the crowd timing off. Mm-hmm. So I kind of rushed. Don't go over time. Make sure you don't go over time. Wait time, ain't nobody gonna give you a light. I'm like, oh nigga, I ain't never did that before. Yeah. Like, who ain't not gonna give me a light?
I know.
Like, yeah. So I was like, all right, be diligent of, you know, your time, but also don't forget that, you know, you do need to slow down and take your pauses. And so, hold on. It should be all right. And so I'm like, all right, this is, I guess. But then when I saw the time coming up, I'm like, shit. I hope I don't get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. But all right, and I hurried and rushed out of the rest of it. But it still made its pop like it should have. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. But I would like to go back.
Yeah.
But it is nerve wracking.
Yeah, 100%.
It is nerve wracking.
I was literally just stretching for like 10 minutes. I was like in the bar touching my toes and like doing the twist and shit. Just like, oh fuck, I'm up next. And I grabbed a drink like a little earlier than I felt like I should have.
Oh.
So I was worried about it. I was stressing out like, oh man, it was just like one drink, but why am I feeling it? Is it because I'm nervous?
Yeah.
You know, whatever. And then again, they start playing the music and call my name, and I'm tearing up like, oh shit.
This is time. Hell yeah.
It worked out. The first thing I said, they laughed, and I was like, all right, I could do this.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Yeah. I've always, whenever I get it, especially out there, I didn't know what was going to go down or how it was going to go down. And I'm like, all right, this is a big crowd. Just don't eat a dick, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. All right, fine. And I knew exactly what I was going to do when I get up there. But then Trey Tutson forgot my name. I was like, bitch,
Yeah.
what do you mean you don't know? We hang out and smoke all the time.
That's why.
Not all the time, but I'm like, yo, I was just with you the other day.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? And I'm like, oh, man. So I had to address that. That needed to be addressed, and you needed to get that out of the way. But I'm like, all right, whatever. But it was the perfect thing. It was like, it got me comfortable.
Yeah.
And it also had the crowd like, bitch, y'all smile. And it's like, oh, okay. All right, cool. This
They're
works.
with you. They're with you now, yeah.
They were with me. And I never expect comedy poetry to do well at all whenever I go places. But, I mean, the shit's so silly. People are like, oh, bitch, that was funny. I'm like, oh, you like that? That was good. Okay, cool. Just making sure because, you know, I've done a whole show. I got an hour special that I ain't never did shit with. That it's basically all of that. The Inquisitor's Observations comedy poetry, where I do comedy poetry for an hour. And well, I mean, it's comedy and poetry together. So it's like stories of comedic stories, and then that they inform about the poem that's about to come. So, you know, whenever I do eyebrows or something like that, I tell a joke about people having terrible eyebrows and yada, 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 shit like that. Then I go into the poem. And so I wanted it to have a flow to it.
Yeah.
But, you know, that still took some time to figure that shit out. And,
I bet.
yeah, that first special I did not put in enough time because the jokes that I told then, I'm like, oh, I told it totally different from how I tell them now. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, I should have I didn't have the time. I was just like, let me get this out. Like, I felt at the time, I just wanted to do my own special. I felt that's what I needed to do, get something that I can produce to people, but I try to do everything myself, try to Bo Burnham that shit, and I don't have the tools.
You had a gimbal on stage. It's like, what am I doing?
That would be nice if I had one of those front harnesses on and with the fucking camera just watching my face. I'm like, don't mind this. I know y'all can't see me, but this contraption is for me at the time.
I'm getting crowd work bids for TikTok. How long ago did you record?
Oh, before TikTok.
Yeah.
Before TikTok was the thing. This was just before I left. So maybe 6 years ago.
And when you say you didn't like do anything with it, it's not released anywhere. So you could
it's not
still
even edited.
Yeah, so you could still you know edit and fuck with these jokes and make them better.
I know it was recorded. It's put on a Mac. It was saved on a Mac, and I don't have anything Mac. I don't have an iPhone or anything like that. So to be able to use the footage that I got, I would have to either get a MacBook or convert that shit. And I'm like, God damn it, this is too much, and I can't do this, and now I got to do this, and I got work in the morning, and I got to think about this, but I want to write something for this because it's in my head, so I got to get it out. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just. Whenever things come together to when I don't have to worry about so much, that's when I'm going to get to that, I'm assuming. Because I've had this podcast for 3 years, just keeping ahead of the game of how I've been. I don't try to stress it anymore. Yeah. Like, because that can really... Because I still got to worry about... Like, fuck.
That's hard enough.
Yeah. Like, why would being an adult be so difficult? Like, why?
I should just be able to write and tell jokes and not do anything all day.
It feels like that.
Wait
it feels
until
like
nighttime.
Being a creative, like we should just have free reign of the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Even though I have no fans or following or anyone that would pay $1 to see me.
Yeah.
Why would I?
Yeah.
Well, I should still be able to do whatever the fuck I want.
11 to 12 years in, I'm like, ooh, y'all see me? No? All right, I'm going to keep pushing. I don't know how to get y'all to see me, but I'm trying.
Just jumping.
Look. Yeah. I'm over here. That's me on a normal basis, though. I'm over here in the crowd.
Hey,
we can't see you, Kyle. It's okay. I'll stamp up on something.
I'm gonna write a poem about you, bitch.
Yeah.
Tall ass bitch.
I definitely have a poem about me not being handicapped, just being small. So it is life's tribulations that just it makes me humble myself, just like, hey man, just keep going. Like the accumulation of fist bumps and good jobs I get, they outweigh the negativity that I think about in life. Yeah. So it's like, oh, like that night at the Improv, everything felt so amazing. Like I was good for the next 2 weeks. Yeah. And I was riding the high for the next 2 weeks. I'm good with this. Yeah.
100%.
But now, going to jail and shit. And it's just having to pay lawyers and shit now. It's like, Can
I get back up at the Improv real quick?
Right.
I need a
I need a boost of just some morale or something.
Yeah, some serotonin.
A little bit.
Any bit of happiness. You guys got any Delta 8?
I'm so upset with Delta 8. God damn it. And you bring the spice back. That's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to trip.
Give me some salvia and some mushrooms and see where I go.
Bro, one time I was sitting on the couch and my brother, he's like, I'm 10 and he's 20. He starts running from the fucking back to the front door and his pants are falling around his ankles. He's like, the sky is falling. I gotta save the world.
What? What was he on?
Some kind of spice.
Oh.
He starts trying to run outside to tell everyone. It's like, the world's about to end. I have to tell them.
Oh no, I've had a spice. It was called Yucatan Fire, and I remember this like it was yesterday. Nigga, I smoked this shit by myself on a pallet on the floor that I had made, and in my head after I smoked it, like, nigga, I ain't even do nothing wrong. But I was gonna tell my ex-fiance at the time every little thing that I was thinking that I was about to do bad. And I was like, wait, hold on. Bitch, I ain't even do none of this yet, and I'm about to tell on myself on some shit that I'm thinking. I'm like, fuck no, nigga. I put that shit down. I still had like half a blunt left. I'm like, nah, I can't. This is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, I just want to be truthful about some shit I haven't done yet. Nah, I gave that shit away. I was like, nope, this is a whole bag. I was like, here, homie, you can't. This doesn't pop up on a piss test apparently, but you know what? This had me thinking stupid thoughts, and I'm not smoking shit that makes you do shit like that.
You ruin your friend's relationship?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. He do coke now, so it's just like, this is different. And you got me on weed, now you do coke. All right, it's because you're in the military, which is fine. Which is fine. Do your thing, but it's like, no, I'm already chattery, and I don't think coke works for me because I was an ADHD kid, and so apparently it just does what fucking Adderall does. Yeah,
slow you down.
Yeah, just like I'm just like, wow, I had no clue.
I've never done coke. Me and Dee the other day we got a friend of ours to be a witness, and we did a handshake. No coke for life.
Boom. There you
no
go.
Coke for life.
Hell
right.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Basically I can't, I don't like shit up my nose. So like, I don't even like Afrin or nothing like that. And so, the only time I've actually been around coke is when somebody was like, hey, Kyle, look at this. And then bam, put their finger in my mouth. And I was like, oh, bitch, this tastes like medicine.
She said, sorry, that was my pussy. Now try this one. He said, oh, coke, I like it. Give me that pussy again. It probably tastes better.
It tastes better than the coke. It definitely tastes better than the coke. Oh shit, that's hilarious. All right, before we go, I always like to, I gotta play a game of choices with everybody that comes on for the first time. So you got 4 options and 4 choices. All right, you get to be one. You got to be one, raise one, and your options are: be one, raise one, sell one, fuck one. How you feeling?
What the fuck? I thought the comedy poetry was unique, but You want me to fuck a manatee? Is that what you're asking me?
However you go. However you go about it.
What is a mogwai?
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you in a second. Let me show you.
It's like I've heard the term.
Yeah. How old are you?
25.
Right. Okay. That's why. That's it.
Is it an animal?
Is it an animal? Get the fuck out of here. That is amazing that you pulled that job just now. Fucking animals.
So they're from Goosebumps? I read about them in the Boxcar Children.
The Boxcar. Oh, no. That is not it at all. Hold on. I can't spell Mogwai.
Raise one, be one. Fuck one.
Yeah, B1, raise one. B1, sell one.
Sell one.
Yeah, that's a Mogwai.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
Gizmo.
This
Gizmo.
is exactly why I know it. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a fucking gremlin.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I don't know why I just don't say gremlin. Oh, because they're M's. That's. When I should explain it, I should explain it by saying a gremlin. Before it's a gremlin. Yeah.
It's what you feed after dark.
Yeah.
Be one, raise one,
Sell one, fuck
sell
one.
one, fuck one. Son of a bitch. All right, give me my options again.
Mermaid, Mogwai, Mexican, and then a manatee.
I'm gonna raise a mermaid. I'm gonna be a Mexican. I'm gonna fuck a mermaid. Did I already say mermaid?
Wait, you said mermaid already.
I'm gonna fuck the mermaid, and I'm gonna raise the manatee.
Okay. You're a Mexican. You're gonna fuck the mermaid. You're gonna raise the manatee. And you're gonna sell the mogwai.
Sell the mogwai. I don't want it.
There you go.
Yeah, that seems
works.
like the smart plan.
Yeah.
I'll give it to my friend like that spice. Smoke the spice and raise the fucking mogwai.
Don't let the world in.
Dude doesn't wake up tomorrow. You didn't give him instructions. You just gave him spice and a mogwai.
Here, you got it. This spice comes with instructions on the back, but that mogwai, I have no idea. It's just fucking.
I picked the mermaid. You get the mogwai.
And everybody always wonders when it comes to fucking a mermaid and shit. It's like, what type of mermaid? Any type of mermaid you want. Any type of mermaid. You can have the bottom down mermaid. You got a Jason Momoa mermaid. You know, you can have the Splash from the Disney Channel mermaid. It doesn't matter. Whichever one you want. Or the Tom Hanks Splash mermaid. I think that's what it's called. It might be a deep cut right there.
I want the Greek siren mermaid that will kill you after she fucks you. I think that would be a good one for me. Take me out while I'm riding that high. Like, I finally found a beautiful girl out here in the middle of the ocean.
I'm surprised I'm not drowning yet.
Yeah, I had sepsis in my leg, but
that definitely works. Like, I mean, they were the most beautiful as well. Just a siren out there. I've actually seen Love, Death, and Robots, and one of those. They have an episode on one of those to where basically she was like a Bollywood Indian mermaid, creature of the water. She had like gold scales on her.
wow.
Yeah, and she would sing a song.
Thought of her.
Oh, she was sexy. I mean, but she would lure like fucking shipmates and shit, and they would fucking drown because they would just keep trying to walk for her scales, and one of them actually caught her and ripped her scales off and shit, and she started bleeding everywhere, and then after that, I think she killed him. You know, as long as he was deaf. That's what it was. He couldn't hear the sirens.
Are we ableist again? Are we being ableist? I bet it was an actor pretending to be deaf.
Well, I'm pretty sure because it was one of the 3D kinds, but you know they have to put I'm pretty sure the guy that was pantomiming the avatar of the person. I'm pretty sure he might have been not able to hear, possibly.
The director's speaking American Sign Language from across the room,
giving out instructions.
Cut. It's not.
It's not gonna work. Can you hear me? I mean, you see me talking to you?
Let's give him the light.
Oh shit. Oh well. Hell yeah, Dylan.
Dude.
Like once it gets but we're good. It came towards the end, man. Dylan.